If you ever want to retain power or have power, you have to keep people dependent on you. And this is coming from the episode 11 of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And the 11th law says that you should learn to keep people dependent on you, right? If you are somebody who wants to achieve power, because when people are dependent on you, they can barely get rid of you, right? We like to have this idea that some people have these two wrong ideas. That one, it's either people keep me around because they love me, or I don't really need people, so I'll just act independently. These two things are false statements, right? Because first of all, when somebody loves you, love is a fleeting emotion, because they can love you today, and when they do not love you today, guess what? They kick you out. They act like you never existed. If you don't believe me, look back in history. If you're about 18 years old, look in the past at people who you loved and loved you. Think about how many of them still love you till today. I'm not referring to those who love you unconditionally. I'm referring to those who just, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. How many of them are there till today? The second question is, the second part is, oh, okay, fine. I'm a guy who acts alone. I'm a lone wolf. #Sigma male. But think about it. Power evolves around other people. And what you should realize is the Sigma male plays outside the power hierarchy. So this video is not for you. But this video will basically guarantee that if you understand the concept in this video, it's to give you power in your relationship, to give you power in business, to give you power. The whole idea is any situation where that involves multiple people, there's some form of power dynamics in place. Any form of relationship, even with your siblings, there's a form of power dynamics that takes place. So in your relationship, how do you do it? This is more important in today's age about how guys should have much. They should keep their girlfriends reliant on them. Now, before in the past, the men used to do this by what? Being the providers. So women relied on those men for what? For their resources. But one thing I'll tell you for sure is that these days things have changed. The women now have resources. So how do you keep them dependent on you? By being the most valuable guy you think they can find. And the one way to achieve this is becoming a very well-rounded man. Think about it. If you have two guys, right? One has a net worth of 10 million. The other one has a net worth of about 2 million, right? 2 million. The one of 10 million, right? Fat, ugly, shy, can't talk to women. He's not jovial. He's boring. He's out of shape. But the guy of 2 million, he's in shape, super confident, super jovial. He knows how to make the room fun. Who do you think it will go for? Who do you think women will gravitate more towards? If you see women gravitating towards the guy of 10 million, you need to go and check what is happening there. You already know the answer, because the guy and the idea here is simple, because you might say, okay, fine. What benefits do I have when people depend on you? You get to have all of the benefits. One, and mind you, please be very careful, because people coming towards you is not really because they love you, it's because they kind of say that they have no option. This is why one of the best advice you can have as a man is to build yourself to the point where you are very, very hard to replace. And do this in every area of your life. Look good, become that well-rounded man. And that's what I preach on my channel. Become a well-rounded man. And hey, by the way, if you get to realize that even in business, the business that the customers rely on, that is, if your business is an essential business, then you can charge some insane prices. Because why? They rely on you. I want to bring up certain kind of businesses here because they may go against community guidelines. But recreational, the dealers know what I'm talking about. When your customer heavily depends on your product, there's almost no way for you not to make any sale. That is the main reason that a lot of dealers now are leasing their products. They are making their product as addictive as possible. Heck, even social media platforms, they know that their viewers, their attention is heavily reliant on the social media algorithm. So they take the algorithm very serious. Because they understand that the moment they lose that dependence, right, everything is fault. We often see this also in the corporate world. In the corporate world, one thing you see is that you see some staff that are very, very important to the organization and which is not even the boss. And that is even a big problem, because any company you go to and the boss is not the number one person in terms of value, that company doesn't have so long. Or Either the boss leaves the company for the most valuable person to stay on top, or the company doesn't have too much to have left. So if you ever find yourself in the top of a hierarchy, one thing I should tell you is try to aim to be the best in the room. And the best in the room doesn't mean that you have to be the best in a particular field. You have to be the most valuable, right? We see this again in politics, where there are some politicians who, just because of their connection alone, it makes them super valuable. So when they want to get things done, this politician comes and actually gets things done. And to be very frank, you're going to have to use people sometimes. And if it's the game is the game. And I'll say this over and over again. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be the smartest. You just need to have the perfect blend of the right skills, right? Even in business, right? You don't have to be the best in copywriting. You don't have to be the best in marketing. But if you have a set of skills, right, they think are super valuable to your customer, there's almost no way they cannot rely on you. And I think, I'm not sure if I've said it or if I've reminded you that the person with the most power is the person who can walk away. So if you make yourself very, very valuable in any situation, right, you become the more powerful one in that situation. That is one trick to negotiation. Even in negotiation, right, one trick they'll tell you is if you know that you should never expose your level of interest too early, because they can use it against you. They can use it against you if you don't know how to hold yourself together. The moment you show too much excitement in the negotiation, it means that one, it's more difficult for you to walk away, and because you cannot even walk away, the prices can go up. They have the upper hand. I know, yes, and again, we have been trained to have this idea of equality. I want us to be equal, even in relationships, because we have this idea of equality, bro. Trash that idea away. Zoom out. Let's look at the past. Look at the relationships of the past, where everybody depended on somebody else for something. That means the woman depended on the man, or the family depended on the man to provide and protect. The kids depended on the women for nourishing and everything. What do you think really happened? They had less divorce than currently. I mean, check the stats. But now when everything is equal, why is the divorce going higher? Because the honest truth is that when people do not depend on you or do not rely on you, they turn their back against you. And it's not because human beings are evil, but it's a way of life. It's a natural thing, because we always want things. There are things that we want, right? And it's better for us to focus our energy on the people or the things that get us what we want. And in the case where you are not what they want, it's easy for them to ignore you. This advice here is super important because it will help you to be less ignored, to not be a flash in the pan. So the major advice here is, in any situation, look for how you can always have the upper hand. Make yourself super valuable. And one clear warning I think you should have is the fact that because people depend on you, and if you make it a thing of if you make it a bragging right of how people depend on you, you have a bigger problem, because people would resent you for it. They'll become angry at you for it. They wonder why is he bragging so much? They're going to begin to plot against you. So it's a thing where if you're trying to build it right, even if you have the upper hand, never play that card. Right? Never make it a thing you brag about. Let it be a thing that they know instinctively. And whether I like it or not, the moment you begin to make it a thing for people to see, apart from them resenting you, they'll begin to look for a way to replace you. And so, never mistake the fact that you are irreplaceable for the fact that they love you, because the smart masters will find a way to make you think that they love you, when in reality they don't. They're kind of afraid of you. They see your power in that same situation. Literally, even though it's a friendship and they don't want to let you go, they often see your power. So, and then this whole idea of, okay, all right, so if this person loves me, right, if they love me, why would they let me go? Is because, think about it. If you're very, very thirsty, the moment you drink water, do you think you need the water anymore? You may say, no, it's a different situation. That is exactly how it is. If they do not see a need for you, at a point, they may have to let you go. Without staying or something. Okay, so let me just leave you my notes here. Make people depend on you. More is to be gained from such dependence than courtesy. So that means He who has slacked his thirst immediately turns his back on the wall. Not because he no longer needs the water anymore. When dependence disappears, so does civility and decency and respect. Because for people to respect you, they need to see a need to have you around. And that is why I tell people that aim for respect, not for love. Love is a fleeting emotion. You love somebody today, tomorrow you do not love them. But for respect, respect is more in your control. So if you aim for people to respect you, what that means is you're going to have to be valuable enough. You have to be somebody who is worth that respect. Okay, the first lesson I experience should teach you is that you should keep your hope alive, but never satisfied. Because the moment you're satisfied, you're useless. So the entire point in this episode, it was for you to basically make yourself super valuable. That one, you are hard to ignore. People rely on you to get things done. You are super valuable. And basically, the more dependence people can have on you, the more power you have. Obviously, it depends on the kind of people who depend on you. So if you made it this far, it's obvious that you take yourself very serious. And I want you to share this video with somebody who takes himself very, very serious. Let's come together. Let's form a community of like-minded people. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And bye for now.